In this segment, we're going to make a song using the built-in loops. I'm going to open a new copy of Mixcraft. I've got the new project window open. I'm going to select the second option, which is Build Loop and Beat Matched Music. Once I do that, I'm greeted with the empty Mixcraft window, and the Project tab is selected in the lower left corner. The Project tab lets me select a tempo and a key and time signature for my song, but I'm going to leave those blank for now. You can always change them later, so unless you know specifically what you want to do with your song, you can leave these blank and let the sounds you find determine the tempo and the key. Let's go look for some sounds. If I click on the Library tab, I see a list of lots of different instruments. I've got a category selector where I can select sounds by tempo, or by key, or by mood, or style. So I can, choose country if I want to, and get all the country sounds there. And by instrument name, etc. Song kit. I'm going to choose by instrument so I can browse through all the acoustic guitars. So I'm going to click on the acoustic guitar tab, and you can see I've got a whole bunch of acoustic guitar sounds to choose from. Let's listen to some. That's pretty cool. How about this one? Ah, cool, but not what I was looking for. Yeah, definitely a lot of cool sounds there for sure. Now, something to note here is when I clicked on those, they played instantly because their location is on my hard drive. You can see location as C, documents, wherever on my hard drive. But most of these sounds reside on the internet somewhere until you click on them for the first time. So if you're using Mixcraft and you downloaded it and you're ready to use some loops, you may click on one of these sounds that doesn't have a location, and you'll see a little downloading message come up on the screen. I'm not connected to the internet, so I got a download failed message there. But if you are connected to the internet, that sound will be downloaded to your hard drive as well. If you need to work somewhere that's away from the internet, what you'll have to do is connect to the internet and then choose the categories of sounds that you want to use. Maybe all of them, I don't know. But let's say you want all the acoustic guitar sounds. You can go to the far right of this window, and there's a little icon that says Download All. If we click on that, Mixcraft will go out and attempt to download all of the sounds that are in this list, and it'll put them all on your hard drive. Then you can work away from the internet if you're on the bus or wherever. If you don't want to download sounds, you can also buy the retail boxed version of Mixcraft, and that comes with all of the loops already in the box. Okay, how do you use loops? Well, I found this acoustic guitar sound that I like. I'm going to drag it and drop it onto the timeline somewhere. Let's go up here, right to the beginning of the song on track 1. I'm just going to drop it. And there we go. You can see my acoustic guitar is laying on the timeline. Now, the first time you drag a loop from the loop library up to the timeline and drop it, you're going to get a message that looks like this. And that message says, use the best sounding project tempo and key. What this is suggesting is that the tempo, remember my project settings back here were set to 120 beats per minute, key of C. This guitar was recorded at 140 beats per minute, key of G. If we stick with the project settings and say no here, Mixcraft will go ahead and transform that guitar into our original settings, the 120 key of C, but it's not going to sound as good as if we accept the original key and tempo that the guitar player played it at. And in my case, I'm going to build my whole song around this acoustic guitar sound, so sure, I'll accept it. I'll say yes. But if you have a specific key and tempo in mind, you'll want to say no to this question. All right, let's listen. That's pretty cool. Press the play button in this little gray bar here and rewind to the beginning of the song button. I can play my acoustic guitar. It's a little bit loud, so I'm going to go up to this slider here, which is our volume slider, and turn it down. Alright, that's pretty cool. I'd like to add another sound, maybe an organ. So I'll browse through our instruments list here. Let's see, organ. There we go. And browse around. Oh, there's one just labeled organ. Let's hear that one. It seems to have the same kind of chord changes that our guitar has, so let's bring it up and drop it in. and listen to the two together. That's a little loud. That's very cool. I like it. However, I kind of wish I had acoustic guitar only at the beginning of this song and the organ came in maybe partway through that riff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get near the left edge of this region, or this loop we dragged in. You see my cursor changes to a double arrow. Once I've got the double arrow, I can click and drag the edge of that to sort of a cropper. I can trim that sample, and I'm going to trim it right up to, I don't know, the edge of that little lick there toward the end. You can see we've got some bold lines. Those are downbeats, and then so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 across the screen. I'm going to let this guy come in a little bit before bar 5 and see what he sounds like. Let's hear it. That's cool. That's what I was hoping for. Maybe next we need some drums. Get some drums to come in. And there are lots of different drums in this thing. If we go to our drum category, you can see we've got 149 different drum loops. Too many to see on this tiny little screen. You can make the screen bigger though by moving your cursor right below the gray big transport bar and just dragging that up. Now we've got a lot more real estate to look at. You can hear some different drum patterns. Whoa, that's not what we want. Not exactly. It's kind of reggae. Let's see. There we go. That's the one. So I'm going to drag that in, drop it in my timeline, and move our gray bar back down. Here's an interesting thing. This loop is only 4 bars long. It doesn't fill up our whole 8-bar song. What can we do here? Well, the reason they're called loops is you can loop them over and over. They're designed to be played over and over. And if I get my cursor near the right edge of this region, you can see it changes to that double arrow again. But instead of being a cropper, it's going to be a looper. And I'm going to drag my loop out. And you can see it goes way out here. You can go out to the end of the song forever. If I play now, that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. The only thing possibly missing from this is I kind of wish the drums didn't come in till later and they had sort of a fill when they came in. Well, I think we can do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my mouse is an arrow. If I get near the top of this little loop on the screen, my mouse is an arrow and I can just drag the whole thing and drop it right at measure 9. I'm going to loop my guitar forever and my organ forever. There we go.